The news this Christmas night now on BBC One with George Alagaya.
The Queen looks back on a year of trials and tribulations at home and abroad. She calls for tolerance and understanding in her 50th Christmas message. And edging ever closer to Sydney, the worst bushfires for years. Good evening. The Queen has been looking back on a year of trials and disasters, floods and foot and mouth at home, and above all, the terror attacks on America. It was her 50th Christmas message. The Queen called for greater understanding between Britain's communities. We all have something to learn from each other, she said, whatever our faith. Here's our royal correspondent, Nicholas Witchell.
A cold kept the Queen Mother away from Christmas morning service at Sandringham. Princess Margaret was also absent. But the Countess of Wessex was there, continuing her recuperation after the ectopic pregnancy she suffered earlier this month. In her Christmas message, the Queen reflects on a year of trials and disasters, from the devastating impact of foot and mouth to the wanton acts of terror on September the 11th.
The terrorist outrages in the United States last September brought home to us the pain and grief of ordinary people the world over, who find themselves innocently caught up in such evil. During the following days, we struggled to find ways of expressing our horror at what had happened.
At such times of tragedy, the Queen says, it is through faith, irrespective of religion, that many of us are sustained, and from a belief in the values of humanity that we are guided. The year's events, the Queen says, have underlined the importance of communities which are committed to overcoming prejudice, ignorance and fear.
We all have something to learn from one another, whatever our faith, be it Christian or Jewish, Muslim, Buddhist, Hindu or Sikh. Whatever our background, whether we be young or old, from town or countryside.
A few days before the start of her Golden Jubilee year, this 50th Christmas message reflects some of the Queen's most deeply held beliefs in the importance of faith and the need for greater understanding between different communities. Nicholas Witchell, BBC News, at Buckingham Palace.
In his Christmas sermon, the Archbishop of Canterbury has also called for a greater commitment to the shared values of tolerance and justice for all. But Dr. George Carey warned it would be a mistake to rely on emotion or collective grief to protect a civilised society. Meanwhile, the Pope has warned that war and violence can never be justified in God's name. Speaking to a crowd of thousands who'd gathered at St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, he appealed for children to be saved from the cruel effects of adult conflicts. Festive celebrations in Australia have been marred by fierce bushfires in New South Wales. Thousands of firefighters have been drafted in. Some of the fires are now threatening Sydney, from where Phil Mercer reports.
Throughout the day, thousands of firefighters battled around 70 blazes, fanned by hot winds gusting up to 50 miles per hour. So far, dozens of homes in New South Wales have been destroyed. Many towns have been evacuated as people scrambled to escape the advancing flames. Emergency crews say they're fighting the worst bushfires in this part of the country for almost a decade.
It is an extremely grave situation today. It is probably as serious as 1994.
Settlements in the Blue Mountains to the west of Australia's biggest city have been devastated. To the south, some coastal communities have also felt the full force of the fires, fueled by tinder-dry conditions. The weather is unlikely to provide any immediate relief. Strong winds and soaring temperatures are forecast for the next 48 hours. Phil Mercer, BBC News, Sydney.
The Palestinian group Islamic Jihad is suspending all its military attacks on Israel, including suicide bombings. That announcement came just hours after fighting erupted between Israeli soldiers and gunmen near the normally peaceful border with Jordan. Israel retaliated after one of its soldiers was shot dead. 2 of the gunmen were killed. 14,000 British servicemen and women are celebrating Christmas abroad. The first troops to arrive in Afghanistan shared lunch with their US counterparts in a hangar at Bagram Air Base. Afterwards, they took them on in a game of American football. And in New York, where the war on terrorism began, hundreds have attended a Christmas service on the edge of Ground Zero. St. Paul's Church opened its doors for the first time since September the 11th, as rescuers and those they'd led to safety joined to celebrate a Christmas some thought they'd never see.
No rest at Ground Zero, even on Christmas Day. Recovery workers keep on with their gruelling task, as they have done day and night for the last 3.5 months. Watching them at their work are New Yorkers who've chosen to spend part of their Christmas here, reflecting on the events of September the 11th at this makeshift memorial to those who lost their lives.
I came to be reminded for what I'm thankful for, and it's unusual, but to be here with strangers, we're all affected, the whole world is affected.
It's so sad for the people that lost someone. When you just look at this up and down here, it's like this big cemetery here. It's really sad.
Sadness too at St. Paul's Chapel in the shadow of the wreckage, open to the public for the first time since the attacks. Hundreds worshipped here today and at a midnight service last night.
Warm and gracious welcome to you to this place, the mayor in Yankee Stadium called a miracle.
Christmas for New Yorkers this year is a time of reflection as it's never been before. Jane Hughes, BBC News.
And the main news tonight, the Queen in her 50th annual Christmas message has reflected on the pain caused by the attacks on America. She emphasised the importance of communities as a way of helping people through difficult times. That's the latest. If you're keen on some more, there'll be news throughout the night over on BBC News 24. But from us, good night and enjoy the Christmas break.
Hello there, good evening. I hope you've had a lovely Christmas. It's been a cold, snowy one in some areas, temperatures barely above freezing in Scotland with a bitter north wind, and there'll still be frequent snow showers coming in across northern Scotland through tonight. If you're travelling, take it steady. There's a lot of snow around, blowing around in a strong wind, and a few wintry showers coming into these more western areas and across Wales, the southwest, and also running down through North Sea coasts of Lincolnshire and Norfolk. Inland, cold and frosty. Temperatures are already tumbling down, so -4, -5 Celsius by morning, and ice could be a problem too on untreated roads. So a chilly start to the day tomorrow, but some sunshine around. There will be a few showers though, some snow showers still in Norfolk, and also some wintry showers near these more western areas, but I think they'll tend to fade away in the afternoon. Many of us then enjoying some dry weather, but it will become cloudier in the north later with some sleet and snow in northwest Scotland. Now it's going to be a cold day for all of us after that sharp frost. And problems actually with an early frost at the race meetings. There will be an inspection at Kempton tomorrow morning and in Huntingdon, so possibly maybe phone the racecourses before you travel. Some could well be affected, and the football fixtures could be affected as well. But if they're going ahead, it'll be nice, sunny, but cold. So after a cold day on Boxing Day with some sunshine, a bit of a change on Thursday, milder but wetter with some sleet and snow, and then windy on Friday with further wintry showers. And that's it.